we'll take our stamp, decide where we want to put that guy. He's good there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to close it down. And we're going to ink this up. And I wanted this to be acrylic because I wanted a really nice solid foundation that I could ink this up. I also wanted to make sure that the grid was not etched into here, because if I'm using ink or paint, I can easily clean it up. Then I'm just going to go in and stamp this. Now, what I like about working with images is often utilize your platform to build dimension just from a single color. So now I've just inked just the head part, didn't even do the rest of the body. That's going to make that even more intense. Then I'm going to go in and just add some more ink into the center to make even the center a little darker. So by stamping it, it just gives instant dimension where his shoulders and kind of background fade into the base, but you can see that it lines up perfect. Really cool, super simple. Now, if we're going to use words, let's say we're going to put words on this. I don't know, do we want legit, epic, cray, sweet? We'll do preference.
Yeah.
You don't care?
I can. Oh yeah. Epic.
Epic.
Yeah.
Good.
Of course.
Perfect. Okay. So if I'm using words, whether it's a word stamp or even a sentiment stamp, I found that it's really important to not have the grid on the base. I could care less about the grid on the base because my card is already there. It's about taking my image, and once it's on there, I'm going to look at the grid that's on here. Okay? Whenever you put a word, even though a word stamp is indexed, this doesn't always match with this. It's close, it will get you there, but it's not perfect. So once I knew where my stamp needed to be, I bring it here. All I need to do is make sure that my stamp is lined up to one of the grid lines. Then I know my text is always going to stamp straight. So that's why I felt the grid was more important up here. And again, nothing that's going to be etched in, so I didn't have to worry about ink. It's easy to clean up. I also don't have to worry about any type of solvent or anything like that affecting it. So we have Epic, which is cool. Now we can use these a lot of other ways also. So we'll show just on, say, watercolor cardstock. We'll stamp with a clear stamp. Okay? If you're stamping with a clear stamp or even an unmounted rubber stamp, it's just as easy as lifting this up and saying, now I'm going to work with a clear stamp. Okay, now it's a clear stamp. So I'm going to take watercolor cardstock. Anything as textured as you want it to be.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to open that up and I'm going to place that down. We'll take our stamped image here, place it down, close it. That's yours.
Oh, thank you very much.
So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm just going to stamp it. Cool. Now, whenever we're stamping on watercolor cardstock, well, that stuff's a little bumpier, right? So it's so nice to be able to go back and stamp a second layer to really make sure you have excellent detail. So we'll take our flower, we'll decide where we want that to be. You could put them at the same time, but I wanted to make sure that, see, these would touch, so my flower would never touch the stem.
Oh, okay.
So now I can actually get that right down to the stem. And I can position exactly where I want that to be. And we'll go in, ink that up, stamp it. And again, we have the ability to build the intensity. And I like to show with this stamp because it is such a detailed stamp that you would know if it wasn't lining up that my image would go from a very detailed image to a very blurry image, but it stamps with awesome detail even on something textured. Okay. Now we'll show a technique. It's always cool to show a technique with this because you may have seen a stamping tool and you're like, okay, I'm not stamping 50 invitations, I'm not doing that. But what if you want to just play around? You want it to watercolor. I'm going to take this and now I'm going to, let's take we'll go back to that butterfly stamp. So it's a rubber stamp. So I'm going to rubber, flip it over to where it says rubber. Okay. Now I'm going to turn my platform this way. I'm going to use it a different direction. Let me go back in. You're welcome. Watercolor. Oh, how's it going? How are you?
That's like everyone in the world.
So I'm going to take that, position it there, close it. Okay? Now I'm going to go with my markers. Take any of your markers, your favorite colors, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to color on my stamp. You may think, well, gosh, I've seen that before. You put color on the stamp, stamp it. But the challenge when you do this is that when we add too many colors onto our stamp at the same time, when we go to spray it with water, all of our colors mix together and make mud. This is going, thanks. This is going to allow me to start layering my watercolor. So I can stamp that. I can just color the body. Maybe I want to add a little bit of blue. And I can see where I want to add my color. Maybe I want to have a little bit more yellow blending in down here. Spray it with water. And now I really have total layering capabilities with my image. Now I want to put some red up there. Let's put some red up there. Let's put a little bit of, I don't think I want some purple. I think I want to do a little twisted citron in there. So by seeing my image, you really are kind of painting, but just in reverse. And the fact that I can layer my colors right on top and I don't have to worry about all of that mixing together gives me an awesome watercolor. So if you would add all those markers on a stamp and sprayed it, it would not stamp like that. It might, then that's a good stamping day. When that happens, you know you've stamped it and you're like, yes.
Backfoot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But usually for this, and you could do this with any image, but the fact that you can layer your watercolor on a single stamp, yeah, it's really great.
Very cool.
Just makes it, or again, another use for working with this, and because this is all molded in here, it just cleans off really easy. If you have permanent ink on there, you can clean it with whatever. You can clean it with stamp cleaner. I just use alcohol just to clean that off. So you can take any type of alcohol and clean it off. It's just an alcohol swab. But any stamp cleaner, whatever's going to clean off your ink normally would clean the ink off of the platform. Yeah. And you can feel the weight of it. It's about 2 pounds. It's a nice, because it needs to be a solid platform. It needs to be something that, yeah, it's got some beef to it because we need that whole magnetic surface.
I know, it's only coming out in April.
It's coming out in April. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like...
But I wanted it to be so perfect in every way. I kept tweaking it and tweaking it, and they're like, the show is in 7 days. I'm like, I know, we're not there yet. We don't even have a box for it yet at this point. I mean, have you seen a box for it anywhere? No. You just see it because I wanted it to be absolutely perfect. I wanted it sculpted. I wanted something that's easily cleanable too. So that to me is key. I've not seen it, no, sorry. Yeah. Sure.
Have you demoed it yet?
I have. Yeah, since 7. That's all right. I'll be back at 4.
Okay.
4 to 6. Yeah, and then I'm here tomorrow demoing as well in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure, of course. So it's just one of those tools that, again, I've never been one that needs to be a me too in the industry. If somebody has something, I'm like, good. But as a stamper, we just need a tool that that's for stampers. I don't need a grid on the bottom that I'm going to clean off with solvent. I don't want all those etchy things that fill in. And I want it big enough that I can use big background stamps and small stamps and just, I don't know. So I just had to just put my head down and do it and take the heat. Gosh, this pen.
Yeah.
I dropped my tin this morning, can you tell? I'll fix it with pliers. But
It's fiddly as.
you've
It's
done that?
fiddly as, yeah.
Yeah. When you drop it, I don't even know how they put that in. But
It's like the impossible job.
it's impossible. I'll give it to
But
Alan.
it does work, but it's
I'll give it to Alan. Who can do that.
you lose your mind first.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I'm gonna tidy up.
Very creamy. Very creamy.
They are. Yeah, but no glycerin. So, so you know how wet and sticky they are?
Thank you.
They're not sticky. They're almost like, so you could even go in and blend with your fingers almost like a chalk ink. But remember, the only way to get it to oxidize is with water. And you don't need to use a lot. You can just mist the top of it and it will just create, like that's what we did here. We blend that and just that one little mist softens the color.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. And just stamping with it, man, stamping is so good. Yes, of course. Q-U-I-M, yes?
Yeah? Kim, yeah? It's difficult for you, the Q, you.
Yes.
Kim. It's
That's
spelled
not
Kim,
Spanish.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's Catalan,
Spanish.
in fact.
Ah, Catalan.
Yeah.
You can also,
It's Joaquin.
Ah, Joaquin.
In,
Okay.
in Catalan is Joaquim, and it's the last words.
Joaquín, pero es Joaquín.
Yeah.
No Joaquín.
Joaquim is in catalán.
No es Joaquín.
No, in catalán is Joaquim.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. I mean, to see
Yes,
it
it's very
actually
good.
happen is like, it's a hard ink when you hear about it because you think, oh, I don't get it. Why is it different? But when you kind of see everything happen and you see the ability to layer your colors, it's so good. Yeah,
Great.
Chipboard, wood, ribbons, any of that stuff is like really, really good. And
It's
I do.
It's very smooth the
So
finish.
smooth.
Yeah.
I know. But the detail of stamping, like all your thin lines
Yeah.
and everything, man,
And overcraft.
I know. Over craft or over black.
Over black, yeah.
I know. We need more colors. Yeah. It was very hard. I chose them at random. I put all the pinks, all the reds, and I was just like, but I that's how I pick. How do you pick?
I don't know.
See? So really, when I chose the colors, I took all of my
Yellow,
markers,
brown,
I put the
yellow,
pinks, I put